Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Luke Show. My name is Tim. I'm just going to do a little solo episode today, recapping and giving my reaction to yesterday's USA versus Paraguay game. First game of the group match of the group stage for the US in this year's World Cup. Um, so, yeah, it'll be a quick little guy, and then we'll give you some more reactions later on to some of the other stuff going on. But I mean, what a game. What a day. US fans have been waiting for this day for years, ever since they announced that the World Cup was coming here. This has essentially been like circle the date on the calendar, for years. And yesterday, like the lead up to it, it felt surreal in a lot of ways, like with this long journey with this team from missing the World Cup in 2018 to landing one of the heavyweights in the managerial world in soccer and Mauricio Pochettino. There's just been a lot of build up to yesterday, and my God, it was just unfucking believable the performance that we put on, the show that was on display. I mean, it was really incredible to see. So 4-1 win for us. Own goal by Paraguay in the seventh minute to get it started. Then a brace from Balogun in the 31st in the 45th minute and stoppage time in the first half. And then Reina with basically the final kick of the ball in the 90th minute +8 with an unbelievable Trivela. We'll talk about all the goals in detail, and then Paraguay scored in the 73rd minute off of a set piece. But we'll get to all that. In general, I mean, we looked hungry, we looked ready, like just full pedal to the metal, like, but in a controlled way. One of the things that we were talking about in the lead up pod to this was that we didn't want to come out and be too excited and too aggressive and, make a mistake early on, shoot ourselves in the foot. But that's what we were anxious about, but we didn't see that, thank God. I think that it was really a perfect blend of tenacity and poise. Like we were hungry, we were landing tackles, getting stuck in, not afraid of the moment. So it just incredible all around from pretty much everyone on the pitch. We'll talk about some individual performances, but just to kind of recap the game in general. So starting with the lineup, this is exactly what I wanted to see. We had Freeman in that right center back role, which was a little bit of a toss up. We had both Malik Tillman and Weston McKennie in, which I think paid insane dividends. Um, Chris Richards was back. This was the number one thing I think all US fans were waiting eagerly to see if our star center back was going to reappear. Just as a reminder, he tore ligaments in his ankle just a couple weeks ago, was sidelined for his club, Crystal Palace, in their European title just like 2 weeks ago. So didn't play in either of the two friendlies before the tournament. So everybody was anxiously awaiting to see if he was going to be fit to play. And so as soon as we saw, like, because he was when the US released the official like roster for the game, he was like the image on there. So it was like immediately like you saw him, you didn't even have to like see his name on there, and it was just like your heart was settled. It's like, okay, our guy's here and he's ready. So that was incredible. Um, just in general, like on paper, I think they showed it as a 4-2-3-1, which is kind of Poach's specialty, but it was clear that in throughout the course of the game, we were playing with those three in the back, with Chris Richards manning the middle, anchoring the middle there, Tim Ream to his left, Alex Freeman to his right. The three of them were just solid as hell the whole way through. Um, the only thing that was a little bit different was from what I was predicting to what actually happened was Tillman and Weston McKennie were in reverse roles. So I was envisioning that Weston McKennie was going to be in the center of the pitch with Tyler Adams, but instead that was Tillman's role in the first half, and Weston was higher and wider towards the right, which he was involved on the attacking side of things a lot for Juventus this season. He was in decent goal scoring and assist form, so it was good to see him higher up the pitch. I was a little bit, I knew always that he was fine in that position, but I wasn't sure the inverse. I wasn't sure about how Tillman would perform there in the center of the pitch a little bit further back because, as we saw throughout the course of the game, is very potent offensively, but it was a little bit of a question mark with him just there manning the middle, especially on the defensive side of things, but he played great as well, so that was awesome. Um, subs were impactful in general. I think Post did a great job with that. We'll talk about that in a little bit more detail later. But Berhalter came on at halftime for Pulisic. He played great, and then with him then taking over that center mid role next to Tyler Adams, that eventually pushed Tillman up into a higher, wider position, essentially where Pulley was playing in the first half. Looked great out there as well. So, yeah, just overall, roster wise, was very happy with what I saw before the game, and I think it was managed well throughout the course of the game. Like I said, there was a number of good impact subs. We'll talk about those a little bit later. So I think Poach did an extremely good job of managing the roster ahead of the first game, and I think everything that he was doing up until this point was all the testing period, like I don't think that he really played with his exact 11 like once, even with the last friendly. Like Chris Richard probably would have been in there for Miles Robinson, but like this was the first time this 11 has played together, and it looked like a cohesive unit that's played together for a long time. So I'm impressed with what Pochettino's been able to do, especially regarding the press. That was one of the most impressive things about this match is that we were hounding them. Like anytime their back line had the ball, like we were all over them. The press was being led by Balogun extremely well. The higher and wider center attacking mids like Pooley and Weston and Tillman, when he was in there, all of them did a spectacular job with the press as well. So that is something that is the product of a high level manager. And especially given that we haven't had a ton of time with him, we've talked about how international teams, they don't focus as much on like tactics and patterns of play because they have less time together than a club team does. So with that being said, I think it's especially impressive what Poach has been able to do, philosophy wise, like just making us work like hell. I mean, like that US team that was playing yesterday, that's a bitch of a team to play against. Like all over you, just like down your back, like putting hard tackles in. Like I would hate to play against that team. So that was just awesome to see all around. Talking about the goals specifically, so it was a good game overall. Like there was a lot of attacking play. Even like a neutral probably would have enjoyed it. I mean, 4 goals, so the one ruled out on top of that as well. So just deep diving a little bit into each of the goals. So the first one, just the most perfect start to the game you can imagine. The first goal came 6.5 minutes in. Beautiful starts from our midfield or from our defensive half. A beautiful little slip pass from Freeman, um, giving it to Weston McKennie in stride as he's attacking space in the midfield. So Weston's driving. Beautiful chop from him to then switch the play out wide. He's kind of in the right channel, chops it back onto his left around 2 defenders, plays Pooley out wide on the left. There he has space. He has 2 defenders in front of him, and in just a moment of brilliance, takes them both on, splits them. The touch is just far enough to where I thought that one of the defenders further back was going to step in aggressively and either like, put in a hard tackle or slide towards it, but he is a little wary stepping up to it. So Pooley's able to catch up to it, eventually feeds it over to Weston, who then kind of like tries to like dump it in the middle and results in an own goal. Um, so I mean, it just kind of helps demonstrate why this formation works for us, especially in the sense of being able to give Pooley space to operate there with just one, sometimes even 2 defenders, because he's good enough to beat 2 defenders. I mean, clearly, as he demonstrated in that play. But that's exactly what we want. We want Pooley in space with room to attack and be able to deliver a final ball, whether that's a pass, as he demonstrated for the assist for Balogun's goal later on, or sometimes taking on a shot himself. Um, so yeah, just giving the ball to him out wide is dangerous, and that's what we need. So perfect for the first goal. Great start to the game. Second goal. This was again Pooley with space out wide left to be able to drive down. He was played a perfect through ball from Jetty. It was cool, just like a very like minute like level of communication from them. Pooley basically kind of just gives him a very simple like points out wide and just immediately dashes. Robinson just immediately plays him a perfect ball with a perfect curvature on it to help bring the ball inwards for Pooley to run onto. And then, like we just discussed, like Pooley out wide left with space to attack, like that is where we're going to get like the best attacking output from this team. So it was done perfectly. Like I said, perfect through ball to him. Then Pooley delivers a perfect negative ball back to Balogun. So a negative ball is whenever you're passing the ball backwards a little bit. So Pooley's closer to the end line. So the negative ball is going back towards Balogun as he's coming onto it to attack it. Perfect weight on the pass from Pooley to Balogun. There was a slight deflection on it, granted, but still perfect weight on it to where Balogun can just go and finish first time, low and hard. Um, Great shot to the keeper's left. There's no way they was getting to it. So um, again, just like freaking perfect, honestly. Again, like helps us exploit our players to their strengths. Pooley out wide left, Balogun right in front of goal where he is super potent, as we saw in this game, as we saw from Monaco this last club season. So just good stuff all around. Moving on to the third goal. So this is the one right on the brink of halftime. Just an unfucking believable pass from Malik Tillman. Like when we talk about somebody who can unlock a back line or find a killer pass that breaks through lines, like that is the exact pass and the exact play that I'm talking about. If you don't remember it, just go back and look at that third goal. Like first, the vision to be able to recognize that lane, and then secondly, the technique to be able to put the perfect weight on the ball in order for Balogun to be able to run onto it like at full speed. He doesn't have to slow down at all to wait on the ball. He doesn't have to like, sprint at 200% to try to get a ball that's too knocked too far in front of him. Just like fucking perfect from Malik Tillman. And I think that like helped epitomize what he brings to this squad, that moment of creativity, being able to find that pass that others can't. Like it was just so perfect. And then not only to mention the pass itself, but then Balogun. I mean, like that goal, Balogun's second goal, the third for us, it demonstrates what a top class number nine can bring your team. So the ball gets played in, it bobbles a little bit off the defender. He's able to regain control of it, put like perfect little push touch over onto his left, and then just like a fucking perfect finesse into the top bins with his left foot. Just like a true goal scorer's goal, you know what I mean? Like in the right spot, making the right run, takes the right touch, doesn't do too much with it. Balogun, one thing I really appreciate about him is that he's not trying to do too much. He's just trying to score. He's trying to take the one touch that'll set him up to be able to finish. And like he doesn't do too much. He's not too fancy. He doesn't he just makes the right decision in trying to get the shot off as soon as he can, which is like a great quality to have in a forward. So just great stuff there as well, just top quality, truly. So that brings us to halftime. As we said, Berhalter came on for Pulisic at halftime. Apparently, Pulisic got kicked in the back of the left calf, and there was like some tightness. So just as a precautionary measure, they took him off, which I actually kind of appreciated. Like we were definitely in the driver's seat at this point. Um, so didn't mind him getting off. Like for us to perform well moving forward in the tournament, we need him to perform at his top level. So if we can give him as much rest as possible and the opportunities where we can, let's do it. So I actually liked that from Poach a lot. Berhalter, he did a great job when he came on. He like bossed the midfield. And as we mentioned, like with our two center mids, Tyler, who's also unbelievable all game, Berhalter was then able to slide into that second center mid position where Tillman was in the first half, and then Tillman slid higher up and replaced where Pooley was up in that higher, wider position. Um, so yeah, Berhalter played really well once he did step into that center mid role. Tillman balled out whenever he went up to that higher role as well. I'll talk a little bit more about them specifically, just a little bit down the line. Um, the third goal, this was Paraguay's goal. So was this the third goal? No, fourth goal of the match then, sorry. So we considered on a set piece. This was like pretty much immediately, like as I believe it was Weah and Pepe got subbed on. So it was maybe one of those moments of transition where people weren't quite locked in yet. In soccer, it's like common wisdom to never substitute on a defensive corner. Um, People say that like you're not quite like locked into the game at the level that you need to be able to be like ready for a set piece to defend. So it could be like a little taste of that with this, but Granted, this was a set piece that they took back in their own half, and the goalkeeper just boots it up. We just don't do a good enough job winning the first or the second ball in the air. We probably could have been a little bit more aggressive stepping towards it, especially in the first ball. Um, and then they after it gets knocked around a little bit, it lands at Enciso's feet, and he plays a perfect ball out wide to his left, where there's like two runners in space basically. Um, Weah was the person who was closest to all of them, and he was the one who just came into the game. So I mean, it's not like there's blame that can be placed squarely on one person for that goal, but I'd give it to a couple different parties, Weah being one of them. Probably, maybe if he had not just been subbed in, he would be more of locked in into that moment and wouldn't let that happen. So, but not a huge deal. Kind of similar to the goal that we conceded against Germany. Like if we're gonna concede a shit set piece where it's just kind of like a matter of us being turned off mentally, then I'd rather it happen in a moment like this where the stakes are lower. We're already up in the game, in control. First game of the group stage. Like, luckily the consequences of conceding this goal were not huge. I mean, we'll see moving on. Luckily, +3 goal difference is still good for us. So we'll see if it proves to be costly moving, out of the group phase. Luckily now with this format, with the eight best third place teams advancing out of each group, a hefty win like this, it almost guarantees to take us out of the group phase. So that's awesome. And then finally, the last goal. I mean, Gio fucking Reyna. If you didn't see the game, please go back and watch this fourth goal. It was unbelievable. Noah talked about in our last podcast. He thinks that Reyna is our X factor, and I mean, like, just an unreal finish to an unreal sequence. Like the entire play was awesome. It was like over 20 passes in the entire sequence, starting from our end back deep on our own half, all the way forward. Eventually, the ball gets to Gio at the top of the box. He takes like one or two touches in to get into the box. He's like right of center of the goal, and he hits it with his right foot to where like he hits it with the outside of his boot. So it's called a trivela, where it then goes into the far opposite corner. I mean, I think one of the defenders was blocking the goalkeeper's vision a little bit, but like the technique on it is just so perfect, and it's just like such a Gio Reyna goal. Like Gio Reyna, Ryan had mentioned in the last pod, like on his day, he's probably the most talented person that we have on this team. And like this debate over Gio has raged on over the last couple years. Like it hit this dramatic low point with the family beef between him and his dad, former U.S. player, U.S. star, and the old coach, Greg Berhalter. Like it was just all messy and it like reeked of like privilege. And it all kind of sucked, honestly, because Reyna, he is unfucking believably good on his day, and that goal helped demonstrate that. So um, just an awesome moment, just an incredible end cap to the game. I also appreciated Gio Reyna's celebration. He like did the old cover the ears, block out the noise, can't hear the haters. I mean, like with how much noise has been following him in the last couple years, like that was just like an awesome moment. And it's interesting because like in some ways, like Gio Reyna is Poach's darling. He's gotten minimal minutes for club this season, like essentially no form at all has existed within the last like year, 2 years. He's bounced around to different clubs from England to Germany. Like he really just hasn't had, a string of consistency at all, but yet Poach, it was kind of a surprise when he was picked for the roster. I'm glad, thank God that he was picked for the roster. But the point is that Poach has seen something in Gio Reyna this entire time, and like bringing him on at the end, um, rewarding Gio essentially rewarding Pochettino for this decision and for like sticking to his guns and like showing support to him. I mean, it just like a brilliant moment to like just round out a brilliant game overall. Like just the perfect end to an almost perfect evening. Like obviously, if we didn't concede, that would have been even better. But granted, how the game went in general, like I can't complain too much about it. Like I said, we'll see if it bites us in the ass in terms of goal difference. But overall, like really solid performance, gutsy out of the guys. Um, yeah, like really inspired some hope. And I think that like originally I was saying that like the absolute ceiling of this team would be a semifinal, and that's like if the stars align. I'll double down on that after that performance. Like if we do play like that, we will give really good teams a good run. You know what I mean? Like I'm not naive. I don't think that we will beat a France. I don't think that we will beat a Spain, a Portugal maybe even or something like that. But like I don't like we absolutely have a chance against teams like that. You know, I think I don't think that we would just get ran out of the park, especially if we have that cohesion and that press and like just firing on all cylinders. People are in the right headspace. If we can get the atmosphere right at all of these games, like this team can go far. So I'm still like fingers crossed on a quarterfinals appearance. I think that that is realistic, and I think that that is attainable. Semifinals would be like, fever dream type shit. Like we can only hope, you know. So, just to round out a couple just like notes about individual performances. Balogun, man of the match, in my opinion. I mean, like he showed what having a dominant goal scorer on your team can do for you. You know, I mean, like just all around great play. Did a really good job of holding the ball up when it was played to him with his back to goal. Did a great job of recognizing runs into the channels. Like for his second goal that Tillman played him in, a beautiful run from him, beautiful pass to him. Just overall a beast altogether. And I'm extremely grateful that this guy decided to play for us. And yeah, I mean, 2 goals at the World Cup, like that's a lot. I mean, there's been years where like the top goal scorer of a World Cup has like 5 goals, so 2 goals in the first game was an incredible start. So awesome stuff from him. If we want to go far, then Balogun has to keep his levels up like he did. So great stuff from him altogether. Pooley only played in the first half, like we mentioned, had a little knock in his calf. No big deal at all. So no problem that he sat, but he looked dangerous and lively. Major involvements in the first 2 goals. Like they pretty much like don't happen without him. So great stuff from him. Got to keep his confidence up. We know like sometimes he can get in his head a little bit. So I think he's off to the races now after that brilliant start. So that was great. Weston McKennie was dynamic. He popped up in good spots all over the place. He's dangerous whenever he has the ball and he has room to drive. So it's awesome to see from him. Great distribution from him as well. So solid performance from him. Tyler Adams, excellent all night long, honestly. Hounded the ball, broke up play on numerous occasions all over the place. He even played with a yellow card for the last 30 minutes, and he was still dogging people after that. So just a true professional on and off the pitch. I fucking love that guy. So hopefully he can stay healthy. Um, Again, coming off a great season with Bournemouth, so he's in peak form right now, which is absolutely imperative for us. Next, Malik Tillman could also get a shout for man of the match. I thought that he was unplayable at times, like just unbelievable touches and passes and flicks and tricks and just like a joy to watch, honestly. His creativity is so valuable to us. He can pass, he can dribble, he can get out of tight spaces, he can, set himself up for a shot. I even thought that I think it was in the second half. I think it was in the second half. He even had a chance where he was in the box where he could have potentially drawn a penalty. He took a shot wide, but then the follow through from the defender kind of took him out. So could have seen a penalty for that one, but no problem. But yeah, he was great altogether, especially given that he played in both those positions, like we were saying, in the center of the pitch alongside Tyler in the first half, and then also higher and wider in that Pooley role in the second half. So great stuff from him. Like just he was another one of the people who was kind of on the fence about starting, and I just think that he like showed his class all game long. So great call from Poach there. Well done. So now moving kind of into our back line. Jetty, Anthony Robinson, solid performance from him all around. Did well to get forward on occasion. Played that perfect ball out wide for Pooley for our second goal. So didn't put many feet wrong. Jetty is one of those players I like. I am shocked if he doesn't put in like a 7 out of 10 performance. He's just like he's a very good player, so he did really well. Um, Serginho Dest. This was the only player I thought who kind of had a lackluster game. Honestly, I didn't think that he played badly, but I thought that he had a couple touches that went astray. Just wasn't like as clean as he usually is. He did still have a couple techers, beat some people out wide right. But also his final ball just wasn't quite on today. Like his final pass, didn't really put himself in positions to shoot very well. So He was the only person I wouldn't even say like disappointed with, but we can see more out of him. I expect more out of him. He is one of our best players on his day, like we said in the last pod. Like, he played for Barcelona. Like that means something. You know what I mean? So definitely expecting more out of him moving forward, but not worried about him. Chris Richards, just absolute stud, dominant in the air. There was this insane stat that Chris Richards, he completed 83 out of 83 passes. This is the most passes in a World Cup with 100% completion rate ever. So that's just like, that's insane stuff. I mean, to not put a single pass wrong 83 times, like it's really incredible stuff. And like he's just such a leader on the pitch. He was an absolute aerial fortress, both defensively and even like looked dangerous on set pieces for us attacking wise. He knotted that one header towards the end of the second or towards the end of the first half. Had a header that just went outside the post. Um, so just great stuff from him. Like I can't explain how happy I was to see him on the roster on the team sheet before the game. So like yeah, our success hinges upon his well-being. So I hope that his ankle is holding up all right after that game. Uh, Next, Tim Ream, old but gold, man. He looked great. Like great performance from the team Unk. He was a monster in the air as well. Again, the three back. I think that it helps benefit Tim Ream more than like practically anybody on our team with having that extra support for him defensively, so that he's not beaten with pace. And then inversely, when we have the ball, he's able to be a little bit wider of center towards the left, so he can really maximize his passing arsenal. Especially, I mean, he has a sweet left foot. There was so many like great passes that he had where he was breaking the lines or he was playing like Jetty or Pulisic out wide. Like just great stuff from him. So, Tim Ream haters, I hope that you stay silent. Alex Freeman, incredible game from him too. I thought that he really stepped up. This was one of the other people who was kind of contesting for a starting role for this squad. Um, he looked really good. He looked comfortable. Sometimes it's both fun and nerve-wracking whenever he is taking the ball and he tries to beat like one defender out of the back, because it's like huge risk reward situation, because often if he can beat one or two people right there from the back, often that can lead him to a spot where then he can play like a very like a dissecting ball, something that's more potent, something that can actually lead to attack, whether it's a through ball or feeding one of our playmakers into space. Sometimes, whenever he breaks that first line by a dribble, it's awesome and that leads to success for us. But sometimes, with the risk reward factor, he's often the last person back. So when he's trying to dribble by somebody, if he loses the ball, then we're kind of fucked. They're immediately out on a counter. So I like when he does it, but sometimes it does make me a little bit nervous. But he's just so athletic that a lot of the time, like he can just push the ball past somebody and just body them or body around them, and then he's like very hard to get around. Good center of gravity for him, even though he's a pretty big lad. So just really good stuff from him altogether. Like I think he played more mature than he's young. I forget honestly how old he is, but he's like 22, 23 max. So he played like a vet yesterday. Really good stuff from him altogether. He just has like a perfect blend of athleticism and like this subtle finesse that is just it's awesome. So, and then lastly, Matt Freeze, really not much to say about him. He wasn't very busy tonight. Or really nothing that he could really do on the goal. He swallowed up everything that he needed to. His distribution was fine. So overall, good enough. Definitely don't have any kind of qualms with him as our starting keeper moving forward. So overall, man, it was awesome. Oh, also to mention some of the subs, we mentioned Berhalter, he played really well. Pepe and Weah, they both came on. Good hold up play from Pepe. He had one chance that he kind of skied over. It was a difficult opportunity though, so don't mind that. Weah also had a nasty rip from the right side. Weah's gonna both of them, both Pepe and Weah are fantastic options to bring off the bench. And with Dest not playing super well, I think Dest and Weah are almost interchangeable, because you can't have Weah along with the starting 11, especially if Dest is out there, because Weah, he's by far the best when he can operate in the widest position and take a defender inwards. Dest is usually occupying that same spot, so you can't have two people just in the same spot. So, with what I'm saying is that if Dest has another poor game against Australia in our second match, then maybe for the third group stage game, could potentially see Weah start over Dest out wide right there. But I'm not ready to make that call yet. I want to see Des play again, and I think Des is going to be especially crucial for us in the next game against Australia because they're going to play with such a low block. They're essentially going to have like their entire team right in front of the goal. So having somebody who can really just like beat somebody with a skill or hit a shot from distance, I think that Des is going to be crucial in the next game. So we'll see about that. That's something to keep our eyes open regarding moving forward. But in general, man, impressive, gutsy. I'm hyped after that, honestly. It was just the perfect way to start this journey of the World Cup at home. It seemed like the atmosphere was great there. So, yeah, really just awesome. Well done to USMNT. Well done to Poach for getting things right. Um, had our heads on straight, just great attitude going into the game. We fought, definitely not pushovers like we've been accused of in the past. So, yeah, I'm pumped about the tournament, about the team moving forward. So good stuff all around. So looking forward, our next match is going to be next Friday. It's going to be June 19th, Juneteenth at 3 p.m. against Australia. It's going to be in Seattle at Lumen Field where the Seahawks play. I think most people will probably recognize or are aware of like the idea of the 12th man for the Seahawks when they play there. The stadium is cool. It's like designed specifically to maximize the sound with curved canopies and aluminum seats and concrete walls. So blah blah blah. I hope that the place is fucking bumping on Friday and like we can bring that same energy that we were able to bring for this last game in LA. And who knows, man? I mean, I said 7 points getting out of the group. I think two wins against Paraguay and Australia, and then perhaps a draw against Turkey. I'm sticking to my guns on that. We'll see. Tonight will be at midnight, the day after the U.S. game. Australia and Turkey we play tonight, so we'll see what that looks like. But overall, yeah, good stuff. I'm excited, and we'll see what happens. So go USA, and till next time, we'll report back after the next game. But till then, over and out. See you guys.